Hello, investors. Welcome to yet another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. Friends, it is a sad state of global world affairs these days. The war in the Ukraine has us all seeing these stories of horror and destruction, and they're taking place in a form we haven't seen in the post-World War II era. But what's even more different this time is that this war is not being fought just with conventional weapons. It's also being fought with cyber weapons. That's right, weapons that can attack defense systems, offensive systems, banking systems, and frankly, systems we don't even know about. And here to talk all about it, we're joined all the way from Israel by Oren Elkayam, CEO of Mobilicom. And Oren is going to talk all about how Mobilicom fights off these cyber attacks from an end-to-end system and what they provide and his unique perspective. And with that introduction, Oren, welcome to 18 Minutes with 180 Markets.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Oren, everybody's got a story. Can you just tell us a couple minutes about your background?
Yes, of course. As you all aware, Israel is a mandatory service for girls and boys, and in the age of 18, I was lucky enough to be accepted to elite program that take few people a year or several tens. We are going to uni and doing engineering school, and then we are moving to the Israeli West Point officer schools. And after that, injected into elite R&D programs. I was chosen by the Israeli Air Force program. I was an officer there and basically served in the Israeli NASA that developed things going in and out of space and other exciting things. From there on, I moved to the civil market where I joined several high technology companies and served in high levels and brought them to success across the world. So in a nutshell, that's what I've done before coming operating and opening Mobilicom.
That's right. And also, and I guess to turn it right directly to the current world state of affairs, what is your perspective on cybersecurity, cyber warfare, in terms of what is going on right now in the Ukraine and what Russia is trying to do?
Well, I think that this conflict has seen something that we also seen in the previous conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia a year ago. We see that those conflicts are using more and more higher end technology that tilt the war. In this event, as well as in the previous event, we've seen a big use of drones solutions, as well as kamikaze drones or operated, armed operated from remote that change the game in those wars. And in those environments, well, you have a very sophisticated technology that can help you change the entire thing for you is a critical, of course. And that brought the drones, kamikaze drones, and teleoperated munition to the front of the war. Once that was done, cyber kicked in. First, there is cyber that was operated against different civil as well as government infrastructure, but we've seen that the use of those smart weapons and solutions is also heavily infected by the fact that cyber is all around the place. In this specific conflict, we have the US that is and the Western countries supporting Ukraine and trying to block or minimize the effects of cyber by the Russian, which is using it broadly and making some of those elements in the battlefield non-relevant anymore. And we've seen the same thing happens with drones or robotics and teleoperated machineries in our neighborhood. I think that we learned a lot in Israel because we are living in, let's say, a bad neighborhood to some extent. We have Hezbollah on the north that is using Iranian weapons as well as cyber and electronic warfare elements. We have the Russian themselves operating all those goods on the west-north part in Syria, where they're trying to protect themselves as well as affect the issues of the war over there, the yearlies, the multi-year conflict. And we have the Gaza Strip on the south. We are witnessing those cyber threats as well as the effects of implementation on drones, robotics, and other elements on a daily basis. And based on this knowledge, we've built our offering.
Right. And maybe, as you alluded to, you have a tremendous amount of experience, and cybersecurity is such a big buzzword. How is Mobilicom specifically targeting the problem?
I think that for the audience, it will be better to understand that cyber is one piece of our entire offering. And we came to cyber as a second step after we proposed and brought to the market several of our end-to-end offering. Mobilicom is actually offering unique portfolio of different solutions and technology smart solutions that help drones or robotics to build their system. So we are uniquely positioned by the fact that we can have different aspects of the most critical components to build such a drone or robot. We started by providing data links that enable the control and view and operation from remote of those drones. And then we moved to mesh networking that enable you to operate fleets and swarms. In the future, you will see more and more swarms of drones or swarms of robots operating. We've seen some of those things happening right now in the conflict. Then we moved to offer some mobile control terminals. Those are the terminals that operate the mission. And we have a wide family over there. So those are free building blocks. The next level was developing the cloud software solution that enables you to master, control, and operate all those assets and see them as a cluster and have the efficiency of such operation over the cloud. And last but not least was the cyber. So the cyber protection solution by Mobilicom to the drones or robotic market came after we already have critical building blocks that are essential pieces in the drones or robotic space. And the reason that we came further that we witnessed that the evolving threats on drones or robotics are very, very different cyber-wise than what we've seen on the banking system or other cybers that we are familiar with. From the beginning, teleoperated machineries like you see in mines, or in that case, in warfare, elements that are working on drones or robotics are heavily dependent on the fact that they are wirelessly operated. It's easier to tap, it's easier to block, it's easier to jam. They have to understand where is their position with GPS and GNSS systems, avoiding or eliminating the access to that. Obviously put them in a place that they don't know where to fly and what to do, or can crash easily. And if you add to that the amount of different malicious attacks that exist on cyber today, you can have multiple ways to kill or make them useless. What we brought to the market is something which is dedicated to the drones or robotics, but more than that, a comprehensive 360-degree protection suits that protect against more than 10 different attacks in a single solution. That first, identify attack, second, notify an alarm, and third, take care of that automatically or autonomously without intervention of the operator. So we are saying to you, you will do your mission, we will make sure that you will be safe and guarded to continue with your mission, and if needed, bring your assets back home with no problem. And it can serve definitely in conflicts or defense and government, but it's very, very relevant to the commercial market as well.
Yeah, because as you're alluding to, it's not just one product in itself that's going to solve the problem. You really need an end-to-end comprehensive solution. I suppose in a way, it's in the most simplistic sense as not quite the right parallel. In a house, the way to secure your house is not just with an alarm system, but you also need correct lighting, a gate, and so forth and so on. Then, turning over within the business itself, can you just talk about, obviously, it's incredible the work that you're doing, but also investors want to make a profit. Can you just talk a little bit about the business model? I believe it's a SaaS model. Can you just discuss a little bit about the financials?
Yes, of course. So Mobilicom's business model is built from 3 pillars. The heritage business of Mobilicom's in the drones or robotics, a huge industry that will be more than $50 billion market within 5 years, is based on the fact that we are first selling hardware elements, those communication, networking, data link elements, those controller, those are sold as repeat orders by customers that manufacture their drones or robotics and need those critical pieces in order to even build a sophisticated machine like that. Then on top of that, we have a second business model that is SaaS based on a yearly of software elements. Those are the cloud solutions that we are offering, as well as the cyber that was recently released. Those will be sold in a SaaS model in different tiers, in different payments level. And last is the support services and post-market maintenance and support services that will be on a yearly package as well. So we have three pillars. First, we enter with the hardware pieces that are essential pieces to build those advanced platforms. And then we put on top of them the software elements and the services and support packages on top of that.
Right. So the hardware, that's where you make it maybe like a one-time margin, but on the SaaS model and in your services, that's the recurring revenue stream.
Of course. So the hardware is like other hardware. You have to buy again and again and again if you want to have, as you manufacture more and more drones or robotics, they are buying more and more from us. And that's a repeat order. We see customers buying again and again and again as their manufacturing is scaling up, or if they have more and more deployments, they are buying more. We have a very steep and high gross margin over there. We have 65%, which is unheard of. Usually in the hardware business, you have 40, which is very high. Since it's all technology based, the essence of the profit is coming from the IP that Mobilicom possess and own. And this is merging with the follow-on revenue that is coming from the software and cloud and cyber solutions.
Right. And who would be your typical types of customers? Like, who is your target market?
So Mobilicom is a B2B business. We are targeting the drones or robotics manufacturers. We are working on a design win model, meaning that we, in the design phase, convincing those big giants or medium and small companies at a later stage to work with us and choose one or more of our components into their drone or robot solution. Once that's done, we are enjoying the fruits of their market penetration and deployment as the market is evolving. We are looking for the giants like Airbus and Lockheed Martin and FLIR Teledyne, which is NASDAQ 100. We also have in the government business, Elbit and Israel Aerospace and ST Engineering from Singapore and others, Thales like in Europe. So we are concentrating on bringing the big giants that we believe that will capture the significant biggest portion of the market. And then on top of that, a second tier of mid-level companies in US, Europe, and Asia Pacific that will be top on that. And that's how we build our business.
Right. And can you just talk about, obviously going for these, the big elephants, if you will, and these mid-tier companies that are actually still pretty large. Can you just tell us a little bit about a typical sales cycle? Because you don't just walk in and get an order overnight.
True. It's not like that, but it's a very sticky business on the other hand. Right. Yeah, but on the other hand, we love it because it's a sticky business. Once you are in for a long time. For example, if we can compare it to the vehicle industry. When Ford or BMW or Mercedes are going to plan their next vehicle, they are choosing the components or the critical components from different vendors. Companies like Bosch, Continental, Delphi, those are the giants that provide the key building blocks. Mobilicom is building itself to be the Bosch or Continental of the drones or robotics space, which is a new evolving market on the commercial as well as on the government space. On those markets, we first approach them. This is first step of business development. Then in second step is the most important and critical step. Either by bid process or by beauty contest, we are picked up to be provider of at least one component of our offering to their solution. Once in this stage, the value of what we are receiving is low. If they are buying in tens of thousands of dollars in stage 2, but it guarantees the business because from their own, they are investing heavily over a year or so to build their platform around one or two or three of our pieces. Once that is done and they are certifying it and pushing all of that, they will not go back unless there is a disaster because it will be a lot of money and time for them to do it again. Step 3 is when they are seeding their next deployments into the market and have initial deployments of sales of their platforms to some customers where our revenue ramp up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then we move to millions and tens of millions where the deployment is scaling up and they are doing multiple customers in different places. And those are step 4 and 5. So Mobilicom today have several customers. We already have more than 38 design wins already in place, starting from the beginning of 2020. And some of them, 7 of them, are big billions of dollar giants in those fields. So we managed to capture big players in the market that chose us. Some of them chose us for more than one design win or platform. And in some of them, we have more than one product. So that means that revenue will kick in, it will be duplicated or tripled because we have several elements inside. And as the market is shifting to more deployments on the commercial and government space, and they are deploying that, we enjoy the fruits of their sales because we are essential part in their design. So from that moment, they are selling for us.
Right. And also, Oren, is it then, like the saying goes, like once you're into the client, is it much easier? Are there upsell possibilities as well because you're already there?
So that's a big advantage of Mobilicom that none of our competitors have. As an end-to-end provider that have several building blocks that are essential, we can start with one. And once we are in, we are cross-selling and upselling other elements. So some of our customers, for example, Elbit started with us by buying our control systems for the drones and their operation in a big project of several millions of dollars that we deploy and deliver. And then the next time we enter a new platform that they designed and sold the communication pieces. And now we are working on additional places where we are offering 2 or 3 elements to begin with a new design. We've seen that happening with few customers of those giants and second tier, and that will enable us to cross-sell and upsell, which none of our competitors can do. Start with one. I will help you understand that once you are bundling the package from us, it will be cheaper, best performance, shorter time to market for you, and bringing all those goods because we are end-to-end provider. And that's unique to Mobilicom.
Right. Definitely. Oren, I can absolutely see the path. I can see the strategy. It's very, very easy to map out. As an investor, what should we look for Mobilicom over, let's just say, the next 12 months? What would be your definition of success for the company?
So we've seen the effect of the strategy. The focus strategy that we've created about 18 months ago is working. We've seen the penetration to big giants. We've seen second-tier players working with us. We've seen the number of design wins scaling up. We've seen the volume of deals ramping up. We had 73% rise in our sales last year, which is very good. We can expect the same thing. We would like to see more design wins created. We would like to see some of our current customers shifting from step 2 to step 3 and from step 3 to step 4, creating higher volumes of revenue. What we would like to see that within the next 2 years, Mobilicom will create a very big footprint in the market, working with the biggest and ramping up its sales and enjoying the fruits of the seeding that we've done over the last year. And that's what we're expecting.
Right. Hey, Oren, we have to keep these interviews short, unfortunately. Do you have any closing remarks for the audience?
Well, I think that as sad as we've seen the conflicts in the last year and the recent one affecting the world, in our case, we are enjoying the fact that the prosperity of the government market as well as defense, especially in the hot topics of drones, robotics, and other elements, is booming. And that could be seen by the investors on other shares, and that could be, it's very relevant for Mobilicom, and we've seen the impact as well on Mobilicom. And we recommend the customers to follow us, see the strategy, and see that it's evolving and punching and getting to where we want to be. So it's working. So come with us to the journey and enjoy the fruits of that journey.
Great. Oren, thank you very much and be well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching another presentation by 180 Markets. Don't forget, if you want access to thousands of ASX capital raises, head on over to 180markets.com.au, sign up, and get on board for our very next capital raise. Thanks for watching.